This espresso machine has a built-in grinder and 20 bar pressure, but does it actually make good coffee? I used to be a barista, so I love testing out espresso machines. I'm gonna be testing out this Kismile espresso machine with a built-in grinder, steam wand, and so much more. If you're looking for an espresso machine to make lattes and cappuccinos at home, just stick around and I'll show you how to do that with this espresso machine. I do want to mention really quick that the brand did kindly send this out to me so I could show you all how it works, but I'm going to make sure that I put it through all the rigorous testing that I always do to see if this is worth it. But really quick, let me show you how this came packaged. So this came really well protected. It comes with everything you need to get started. You have the actual espresso machine. This one has a bean hopper, a portafilter, a tamper. We have 2 dual wall filters, 1 single cup and 1 dual cup, and then 2 regular walled filters, 1 single cup and 1 dual cup as well. The dual is going to be better for beginners. After you've gotten to know your espresso machine and you have a little bit more experience, then you can go ahead and start using those single wall filters. This thing also comes with a tool holder that's going to hold your cleaning brushes and your pen cleaner, and it can also hold 2 filters. And this is super silly that I was so excited about this, but there's a secret compartment to hold all that extra stuff underneath the water tray. So some of my favorite features are the grinder, of course. Having a built-in grinder saves you on space, and it also makes everything taste fresher. And that water tank is 2.3 liters, which is huge. But before you actually make your first espresso, you have to clean all the parts and then also take out this plug at the bottom of the water tank. It will not brew water if that's still in there. To insert the bean hopper though, you're gonna line up this little tab right here with this insert where the red mark is, and then you'll gently press down while twisting, and then you can adjust your grind level. So for beginners, and for the purpose of this video, I'm just going to set it to 15, and then if we need to adjust it more fine or more coarse, it's easy to do that, and it shows which way to turn the bean hopper. So I'm just gonna put enough for 1 espresso shot in there. You can fill this bean hopper up all the way, but if you're not gonna be drinking 100 cups of coffee a day, I would just put in enough for how much you're gonna use that day. And then just put that lid back on, and now we're ready to grind. All right, so when we first power this on, all the lights are gonna pop on, and then this is going to illuminate and breathe that light until it is fully preheated. And then once it's fully preheated, it's gonna pop up with those lights. All of these will stay solid lit up. Also, if you wanted to make an Americano or just use hot water for tea, you can just turn this to hot water and it'll just dispense hot water right into your pitcher. It'll automatically stop whenever it's done, or at any time you could switch this back to the resting point and it would stop the water. And that dispenses exactly 8 ounces of hot water. Also, this tray up here is a warmer, so you can set your mug or your pitcher up there and it'll keep it warm until you're ready to use it. Really quick, I wanted to jump in here and say, if you enjoy this kind of content, please hit that like button and subscribe. It helps me out a lot, but I know y'all are just here to see it work, so let's go ahead and test it out. So for this video, I'm gonna be using the single cup double wall filter. So I have that put in there already, but if you wanted to switch this out, you can just use the other end of this brush just to pop it back out, just like that. And then to put it in, you just push down. So I'm gonna slide this portafilter just in these little clamps right here, right underneath the grinder. So I already have it set to 15, like I said. So let's go ahead and hit grind. I will say for a grinder, it's actually not that loud. I'm kind of impressed, and it did just turn it off on its own after we grinded the right amount. And that actually looks perfect to me. This is exactly the kind of grind I like for my espresso. Now we wanna make sure that it's not above that max line, so we're gonna tamp this down. Also, this tamper is pretty hefty, so you won't have to use a lot of pressure to tamp down the coffee, because this is already pretty heavy. And it is below our max line. So there are markings right here to indicate where to insert this, but you're just gonna insert it at an angle, and then you'll twist to lock it. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit single. That is looking really good. I am really happy with that. And it barely took any time at all. Let me try a little bit just to see how just the plain espresso tastes. Ooh, that tastes really good. I am super happy with that. So this espresso machine came with a milk frothing pitcher, which I really appreciate. So I put about this much milk in my pitcher. If you're doing a cappuccino, you're gonna put a lot less milk in. So we wanna put the pitcher up at an angle, and then we're gonna turn this to steam. It's gonna heat up. You want the wand all the way in the milk to start out with. You're gonna hear that noise at first, and as you pull down the pitcher, you're gonna hear that tearing paper sound, and you'll just do that until you have the desired amount of foam. And then make sure you have a damp cloth nearby because you'll want to clear out the steam wand right away and wipe it down just by turning on that steam function. It actually did really good. There's a decent amount of foam. You're getting those micro bubbles on there. A latte is just espresso shots and foam and steamed milk. That is a classic latte right there. And that looks delicious. And it tastes delicious too. As far as cleaning up goes, the drip tray and the water tank are both removable for easier cleanup. And then the brush it comes with really makes cleaning all of the nooks and crannies so much easier. And then after knocking out all of those used grounds out of the portafilter, what I do is I put that portafilter, now empty of grounds, back in the group head. And then I just go ahead and brew an empty cycle and it'll just rinse out that filter for you. That also knocks out the extra grounds that were still on the group head. And then that red brush we were using earlier works really great for cleaning that group head. Also, this is not necessary to do every time, but you can unscrew the tip of the steam wand, and then you can easily clean this out with this pin cleaner on one end, and then with the straw cleaner on the other end. And that gets all of that milk buildup out of there. But generally for everyday cleaning, all you'll have to do is just run hot water or steam through the wand and wipe it off with a clean towel. And they gave us a citric acid descaling powder for whenever it comes time to do that. Okay, now that we've tested it out, let's talk about it. So the espresso shot wasn't bitter. It was actually super smooth and strong. It had this bold flavor, and the frother was super easy to learn how to use. All you have to do is switch a knob. Also, frothing takes time and practice, so don't be discouraged if you don't do it right on your first try. All the controls were really simple, easy for beginners to understand. I think the one thing that could be difficult for beginners to learn is the bean hopper grind option. So the lower the number, the finer the grounds, and then the higher the number, the coarser the grounds. It goes over all of that in the instruction manual though. So pros and cons. Let's start with the pros. It has a built-in grinder, 20 bar pressure that makes really good espresso. And then we have a built-in frother as well. It's super pleasing to the eye. The aesthetic is really pretty. And it does come in a few different colors too. If you don't like this color, it does come in black too. And then last one for the pros is how big that water tank is. Okay, now for the cons. Honestly, I don't have very many for the cons. The only con I could think of was the grinder arms down here. It's really far away from the grinder, so the coffee grounds made a little bit of a mess, but I do wish that arm was a little bit closer to the grinder. Again, not a big deal, and the pros far outweigh the one con that I had. I'm being so honest, I love this espresso machine. So let me know in the comments down below if you think this would be worth it. Also, if you have any questions or wanting a recommendation on a different espresso machine, just shoot all those questions down in the comments down below. And like always, it's linked down below if you want to go grab one for yourself. And if you use my link, it really helps me out. That was all I had for this review. Thank you for watching, and I hope this video helped you.